Report. Hanging at the Fish Report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the Fish Report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the Fish Report. Hanging at the Fish Report. Hanging at the Fish Report. You got Craig and TK and Head and D. Tune in at the Fish Report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Fish Report Live. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Craig Fissinger. That is Ken Francis. We're your host. Back in our sound room this morning, two guys we like to call TK and Heavy D. We'll talk to them a little bit later in the program. And, of course, out in Studio R, it's Covey and Kearns. Always excited to talk to them. And, Ken, the last time I talked to you, we were talking hoops. Now we're going to be talking some spring sports.
Yeah, we are, Craig. We got our short-sleeve shirts on. The sun's been shining. The time has changed. And it's time for some baseball, some softball, some track and field. Really looking forward to talking to all of the area athletes, Craig, all the area coaches. We got an exciting spring sports show, and we're excited to bring with you tonight our first spring sports show.
Yeah, we got a big interview coming up, kind of a traditional interview. We've done this interview the last several years to kick off the spring sports season.
That's right, Craig, and we're going to go to Russia and talk to Michelle Muhlenkamp. Coach Muhlenkamp has turned the Raider softball program around. She's done a phenomenal job with it. She's in her sixth season as head coach of the Lady Raiders. She's last year, Craig, was her third consecutive Shelby County League championship. And when you consider the strength of that league with Houston, Lorme, and Anna and Russia, that's a pretty impressive statistic there, Craig. She's won 29 consecutive Shelby County Athletic League games. Just a phenomenal program that she's got going, Craig. Really excited to listen and talk to her in a little bit.
Yeah, that the winter season, we just got through with it, and it kind of goes a lot longer, and we have a lot more shows in the winter than we do in the fall and the spring. So this spring season goes really quick. I was kind of in a little bit of a lull after the basketball season and wasn't ready to get into spring sports. But you know what, Ken? Got out to a baseball game, got out to a track meet. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to go now. I'm fired up for spring sports here. Only got about 2 months to go, and it seems like it all of a sudden it gets through it pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, Craig. And, like you said, the last winter sports show, Craig, we had our four kids on the show, and your daughter's running track, and my son and TK and Heavy D's sons are all playing baseball. So they're all in their senior year, Craig. Hard to believe another 6, 7, 8 weeks, depending on how long they go into the postseason run, hopefully about 10 weeks. Their careers will be over. So, but we're going to have a lot of fun with them over the next several weeks, and really looking forward to some fun action.
Yeah, well, let's do this, okay? So I know we're just getting things started here. Not a whole lot of games and track meets and have been going on, especially because of the weather. So I just want to let's touch on each spring sport that we like to cover. We'll start with baseball. I just want to ask you maybe your thoughts on. I know again things have just kind of kicked off. Your early thoughts on the Shelby County Athletic League.
Well, Craig, when you talk Shelby County Athletic League baseball, you got to start with the Fort Lorme Redskins. They're defending state champions. They only lost one player off of last year's team. They've got 100% of their pitching back. Coach Saunders is loaded, but got the Anna Rockets are going to be good. The Russia Raiders are going to be good. Jackson Center, I think, is going to have a very good team this year. And never count out anybody in baseball because whether it's Farallon or Houston or Bockens, any of the teams, anybody can beat anybody, Craig, on a given night in baseball. And I look for it to be an action-packed Shelby County Athletic League. When you're playing multiple games in a week, sometimes 5 games in 1 week, it can really take its toll on your pitching staff. But, you got rainouts in there, and, you may play a big league game on a Tuesday and again on a Thursday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You look back at the last 2 years, Craig, the Russia Raiders early in the season run-rolled the eventual state champions in each of the last 2 seasons. So
That's right.
2 years ago, Russia took on Minster early in the season. Russia run-rolled them. Last year, Russia took on Fort Lorme early in the season. Russia run-rolled them. Both them teams eventually became state champions. So moral of the story is I don't know. If you get run-ruled by Russia this year, don't give up because you may end up with a heck of a season.
Well, that's your point then when you say anybody can beat anybody. I mean, you don't. I've never heard you say that about basketball or football or any of those sports, but you say that in baseball because
and I don't think it's true in basketball. I think your better team is typically going to win in a basketball game. But in baseball, anything can happen. You can get a call, you can get a lucky break, you can get you can get a dominating pitcher who just happens to be pitching really good that night, and the really good team might hit bullets all night, but they're right at the center fielder or right at the shortstop, and just nothing falls in, and the other team may get a couple walks. A bloop hit down the right field line, and then the next guy hit one in the gap, and they score 3 runs, and they win the game 3-2. So anything can happen in baseball.
So you got to have a little luck on your side as well. So
Absolutely.
The stars have to be lined up, as some coaches like to say.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's good stuff on baseball. We'll talk more about that in the weeks to come. I want to talk a little track. Got a chance to go to my first track meet on Tuesday night over in Sydney. Got to see a lot of good Division I and Division III teams. And I want to talk Shelby County Athletic League track. I'm just going to keep it quick here. And again, we just got started, but just kind of give you my highlights on the girls and the boys side. And I'll give you maybe my preseason MVP. So we'll start out on the girls side. And I'm going to, this is probably an obvious one for folks that follow Shelby County Athletic League track, but on the girls side, my preseason MVP has to come from Fort Laramie, and it has to be Kennedy Gephardt. She is she's phenomenal runner. She's actually does very well in the 200 and 400. I'll tell you how good she is, Ken. She actually broke the school record, the league record, one of Janelle Oberding's ancient records. You hear her name every year at track meets. She has the track record or the meet record. She broke her 200 record last year at the league meet, so very good in both the 200 and 400. She went to state in 4 events last year. You can stick her on a relay, and she's just phenomenal. So she was my preseason MVP. I'm going to go with runner-up, a senior over at Kennedy's a junior, but the senior over at Anna and Hannah Shoemaker. And Hannah seems like she's been around forever, was part of that state championship team over there a couple years ago at Anna. And her specialty, of course, is the 300 hurdles. She finished 5th at state last year in that event. She's also actually a pretty good pole vaulter as well. So special athlete. They compete in Division II. So Anna, she's going to be a fun one to watch, and she's going to help lead that team. And then I got a couple other athletes I want to highlight, and of course, I'm a distance fan. I love distance running, and I think the one to watch there probably is Russia sophomore Becca Sager. And I'll tell you how Becca is a little different than your average distance runner. Becca has a kick. And, when you get in these events like the mile is her specialty. We saw this last year at the league meet. Becca had a kick that won her that race, and she's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Got to the regionals last year, didn't run her best race. Actually got beat by a couple Danielles over from Fort Laramie, which hadn't happened earlier in the season. But I think this year she gets over that hurdle. I think she'll make it to state in the 1600. So she's one to watch in distance. And as far as a field girl, my favorite in the field this season is probably Bakken senior Grace Homan. Very good thrower, very good shot putter, does well on the discus as well. So she'll be one to watch in field events. And as far as, I know everyone likes to know, who are your freshmen, who are your fab freshmen around. Laramie's got a couple of them over there. Olivia Borchers, good distance runner. Abby Rassman, not Alyssa Rassman, that's her sister, but Abby Rassman, a freshman, very good high jumper. She's one to watch. Ava Knopf over at Houston, really like her as a distance runner. And at Russia, you got Ella Haney. Ella Haney, good middle distance. She's going to be a workhorse for Coach Heaton this year, and I think she'll be a lot of fun to watch as well. And then there's another thrower over at Bakken, Aaliyah Johnson. She is a freshman. She's going to take over for Grace Homan next year. She's going to be a good one to watch, too. And then on the boys' side, just real quick, I guess I'll go with an MVP and a co-MVP. And for that, I'm going to go with 2 Laramie seniors over there. And, of course, everyone knows these guys, Joe Ballas and Jake Raithman, a couple very good distance runners. They're really going to lead that team over there, a good 1-2 punch for Coach Rassman over there. They're going to be really good. They're one of my picks to battle it out in the county with Anna. I think Anna's going to be very good with Bart Bixler, Riley Hulskamp. They got Alex Brugman over there, but they're going to battle it out. Laramie's got some other good athletes besides those 2. You got a throw over there in Colin Dietrich, a senior, very good as well. As far as distance guys goes, I talked about girls distance runners, distance boys. A couple over there at Houston. You got Ethan Knopf and Tristan Freisteller, 2 good guys to watch there. We saw them on the cross-country course. They're going to be good. And then my favorite field guy, look out for Fairlawn sophomore Jackson Jones. The guy can just jump like crazy, and went 6'2" on Tuesday night over in Sydney. That would have got him second place in the county last year. he's phenomenal. I think he went 6 foot last year, already 2 inches higher, so very good. And then as far as freshmen to watch, my favorite freshman probably around the league this year is going to be Lucas Smith, who is a freshman over at I'm talking about freshman. He's a freshman at Anna, very good on the cross country course. He's going to be very good on the track as well. So a lot of fun, a lot of things to watch in Shelby County Athletic League track. Ken, I know you paid attention to track for years and years, and maybe not so much anymore, but those are some names
That's
you should
some
watch
good names
for.
right there.
So good stuff
A lot
there.
of 'em.
Look forward to talking about more about that in weeks to come. And let's get right to softball. And for that, we're going to go out to Studio R, check in with Covey and Kearns. Guys, welcome back for the spring sports season. Excited to talk some softball. So you got about 90 seconds here. Tell me what to look forward to in softball this season in the SCAL.
Well, we got to tell you to look out for the Russia Raiders. Obviously, looking for that 4th straight league title. Got a big battle with Laramie tomorrow. Laramie brings some mixed in a team of some veterans, some young players. It should be a great battle over there at Laramie. A good old cabbage head and frog battle over there at Fort Laramie Park. Anna, I remember saying last year how they could be they'd be my league pick. I know they got a great player by the name over there, Olivia Place. That was the first team last year. So I think Anna's a team to look out for. And Houston for sure should be another team that can make a run for the county title.
Rushia's definitely, it's kind of a different role for Rushia this year. They're definitely in the league running, but they lost a lot of faces. 2-time player of the year, Grace Saunders, 3-year starting shortstop, Lexi Monin, 2 strong leaders for them. And they're going to have some underclassmen too. I know that they have coming up some sophomores and freshmen that are new to the game, thrown into the varsity level right away. So I think it's going to take a couple games for them to get rolling, but hopefully that they're ready for the test against Laramie tomorrow night, because Aaliyah Frilling, Desiree Fote, Carla Gephardt, those are 3 big names you'll see in the paper a lot for Fort Laramie. So those 2 teams, obviously, and like Covey said, Anna, they're full of a lot of players returning from obviously the SAL Select of last year. So those top 3 teams, they're definitely going to be your top picks for the league standings.
Guys, I know we talk about SCAL, but probably the biggest softball conference around here, of course, is the Cross County Conference, and always measuring ourselves against them. Has the SCAL made strides to get more competitive with the CCC and maybe hang with them come postseason?
I would say more competitive, but the CCC superior, and we know it's unfortunate that our for the Bradford Railroaders, who are the defending Division IV regional champions in the Southwest District, are going to be without their Skip Miller over there. Unfortunate ACL injury for just the young sophomore. I believe she's got a young freshman sister that plays too. But the CCC is just the class of the conferences when it comes to softball. There's nothing that a lot of teams can do about it. They're just they play Greenville youth softball, and it's kind of just a family tradition, and it's just their thing over there in Darke County.
Yeah, I've watched some of those teams multiple times. I've watched Skip Miller play. Just those teams throughout the years, they have a phenomenal league. Success breeds success, like you say. I mean, they're rich with success, and they just keep building off of each other. I got to watch Newton play Russia last year in the sectional final, and they look like a really solid team. So I think Russia's making its way up to a strong softball league, but still the CCC takes the cake.
All right, guys, good stuff in that. Of course, the CCC is good as well as the SCAL, and then you got the MAC in there too. So, a lot of good competitive softball being played in this area, and we'll talk more about that in the weeks to come as well. So, great stuff there, guys. And with that, we're going to take a short break, but stay right there because when we come back, we're going to talk some more softball, including a big interview with Russia coach Michelle Muhlenkamp.
In the motherland, and you were born with heart, raised on pride. This is gonna go wrong through your bloodline.
And welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. Before the break, we were touching on all the spring sports, Ken, and that leads us to our interview coming up here. Our next guest, as you mentioned at the top of the show, is coming off her program's third straight Shelby County Athletic League championship. And as a matter of fact, you even mentioned that she has a 29-game SCAL regular season win streak, which is pretty awesome.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Very, very impressive. But we welcome to the show now Michelle Muhlenkamp. Coach, thanks for joining us on Fish Report Live.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, I know there's kind of an unwritten rule about talking about win streaks, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because 29 games is pretty impressive, and I know that that HAP took place over several years, and you had a lot of different players during that time. So, Coach, what does it take to have a streak like that, or what does it take to be successful for that long a period?
Yeah, I definitely have to say that 29 games has been quite a ride. It's been pretty awesome. But there's definitely, I think, a couple things that go into that year after year. And I think number one thing for us is the culture that is developed on the program here at Russia. We try to make it as coaches, we just want it to be fun for the girls. Like, we play softball because it's fun. And we have to keep that in mind. We don't want it to be stressful. We come out because it's fun, and we play this game. So don't get me wrong, we work hard every single day at practice, but it's important that we always remember we play this game because it's fun. So I think that's kind of what our culture has been kind of developed around for the past couple years, and I think that has helped a lot. Second part, I think, of that is kind of building the program at the younger ages. I've had some amazing parent help at the younger ages who really started to build that passion for softball at a young age. I think that has played a key role, too, because those younger girls look up to those softball players who are playing in high school, and it looks like fun, so they want to come play. I know being a coach, I'm finally getting to coach my students who I had at sixth grade at Russia. Being a teacher there is kind of something special where you get to eventually coach them down the line, and that's finally happening. So that's been pretty awesome, too, to get to coach my students. So every summer we do a softball camp, and so it's fun to go out in the summer and just get to coach my students out there. It's definitely something special.
Well, you've got a great program going, that's for sure. Let's talk about this year's team, Coach, and this is vastly different from the team you had last year. I believe you graduated 6 seniors from last year. So what were your early expectations for this group?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. We have, a lot of new girls in new positions. We had 5 starters last year who aren't with us anymore, and that's no secret to anybody. But I've told these girls from day one, own this position. It's now you. You get to step up into this position and own it. Like, own this new position. I tell them to own their mistakes. When you make a mistake at this new position, just own it and learn from it. Don't get frustrated because we're learning at these new spots. But once you make that mistake, don't make it twice. Just own it, own that mistake, and move on. But along with that, I'm telling them, own your victories, too. Like, when you make a great play at that position, like, just feel that, and that's something awesome that you can be proud of. So biggest thing I've been telling them is, turn the page. This is our team this year, and, we should be proud to be in those positions. They've worked really hard, so I just want them to kind of go out there and own it. So even with that, I think these girls, we've talked about it. We have high expectations this year, and we are, without a doubt, going out there to win another league title this year.
Coach, good morning to you. This is Ken. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of your key returners from last year, and those happen to be 2 seniors, Shay Borchers and Jenna Cardonier, both all-league honorees last year. But, their roles have changed this year. Like you mentioned, you lost a lot of good seniors off of last year's team. How have these 2 seniors developed over the last year, and what do you expect from them this year?
Yeah, I think both Shay and Jenna have played with us now. They've been out there playing for 3 years on varsity, so they know what it takes to have that success that we've had. But this year, I'm definitely pushing them to step up into the new role of being senior leaders because it's something different when you become a senior. So definitely pushing them to step up into that along with the other 3 seniors that we have. Just, keep reminding them that this is it and you got to go give it your all this year. And so pushing them to step up is definitely what we've been doing as a coaching staff. I think Shay, being our center fielder, this will be her 2nd year out there. She knows what it takes to be a leader out in the outfield in that center field position. So she'll do great there. And then Jenna Cardonier has played second base for us for 3 years now, but we've pushed her over to the shortstop position. And I think that position automatically has a leadership role that we're asking her to step into in the infield. So not only is she learning the shortstop position, you know, we're pushing her to be a leader in the infield too, but she's a competitor and she's doing an awesome job there. So they're both doing great.
Coach, one of the obvious changes to your team this year will be in the center of the circle of the ball diamond. You had Grace Saunders there. She's a 2-time Shelby County League MVP. Obviously, you're going to miss her a lot, but like you said, she's gone. So now it looks like it's going to be Morgan Wenrick, a girl that didn't even play softball for you last year. How has this story developed? How has she developed as a pitcher? And, you know, what are your expectations here?
Yeah, you know, I heard Morgan Wenrick was interested in joining the softball team, and I was all about it, so we talked about it, and, you know, she decided to join, and honestly, it's been a great addition to our team this year. She works really, really hard, and she's definitely working to learn the ins and the outs of the game of softball, because as we know, it moves really fast, so she's working hard to learn that game, but her pitching skills and mechanics are actually pretty fantastic. It's pretty impressive what she's able to do with kind of so much time away from the game of softball. But honestly, I think with Morgan working and then Sophie Francis, our freshman, I think the two of them working together in the circle, I think they'll make a great pair, and I think they'll do some special things together this year for our team, and we're definitely going to need them out there. So they know what their role is, and I think they're going to fulfill it.
Coach, let's talk about your game tonight. You opened Shelby County League play against the Fort Loramie Redskins. You travel to Fort Loramie. Coach Turner has got himself a very talented team this year. He's got a lot of returning players off of last year's team. What do you know about the Redskins, and what's it going to take for the Raiders to get their 30th consecutive Shelby County League win?
Yeah, I mean, Brad will have his team ready, that's for sure. You know, we talked about it with the girls, and we said we got to go out there and compete. Every single inning, every single pitch, we have to go out and compete with them. You know, it's fun. Again, I keep going back to that fun. I remind them it's fun to play your rivals. So we just have to show up and play that game of softball. I know their pitcher, their senior pitcher, we were preparing for her, so we are ready to face her. And I told the girls on defense, you know, their hitters are going to put the ball in play. So we just have to make plays, stay, you know, have our composure and go out there and play. And then, of course, we got to bring the bats because we're definitely going to have to score some runs to win the game.
Coach, listen, one more question before we let you go. You mentioned you had 5 seniors. We talked about Shay, Jenna, and Morgan. You've also got Savannah Albers as well. And you have one more senior that I want to ask you about, and that's Kennedy Gubo. And I know a lot of our viewers out there might not be familiar with that name because she hasn't been real noticeable in your program here the last several years. But last Saturday against Minster was a big day for her, and I want to know, can you tell our viewers exactly what happened and talk about her story a little bit and what she's battled?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, her role hasn't been maybe noticeable to the outside, but definitely she has made a huge impact on our team the past several years. So Kennedy is just an incredible kid who, unfortunately, like we know how sports go sometimes, she's had to fight injuries the past 3 years. Between foot surgery and a broken leg last year, you know, she's just had quite a battle. But she is an incredible kid who has an amazing passion for the game of softball. I mean, she has stuck through it for 3 years, without a doubt, with this team, and it's been just incredible to watch. I know I've learned a lot from her as a coach, just what it takes to be dedicated to a team through it all, through thick and thin. But Saturday was definitely very special for Kennedy and the whole team because she stepped out there against Minster and absolutely ripped the ball up the middle. And it was her first career hit for the Rushi softball program. And needless to say, when she got down to first, there was a lot of tears from not only the teammates, the coaches. I mean, it was just something special to see because it's been something she's been waiting for now for 3 years. And I think, you know, just don't take, some of us take that for granted. And for her, it was definitely something special. So it was awesome to have that on our team.
You're getting me teary here, Coach, just talking about it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really awesome.
Well, great. Well, listen, Coach, we appreciate you getting up with us early this morning for the show. I know you got a big game tonight. Best of luck to you at Fort Loramie tonight, and more importantly, best of luck throughout the season for the Lady Raider softball team.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Coach.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, that was the head coach of the Russia Lady Raiders, Michelle Muhlenkamp. And Ken, it's going to take a lot for them to get their 30th win, as you mentioned. Coach Turner's got an awful good team over there at Fort Laramie. Did you know that the longest streak in the Shelby County Athletic League for wins is actually the Houston Wildcats? They had 37 in a row, a streak which Russia stopped back in 2010.
All right. Well, that's a great stat right there.
Been a little while ago. So
one thing I know for sure, Craig, I will know who won the game because Coach Turner is my favorite coach that sends out tweets because they're short, they're sweet, they're to the point, and he does it every game, win or lose.
Yeah, I know we've talked to him before on the show, and I know you've mentioned that.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He's great. Thanks, Coach Turner. You're my favorite coach to Twitter follow.
All right, well, listen, let's go back to the sound room and check in with TK and Heavy D on this spring sports season debut. Guys, welcome back for spring sports. Are you fired up or what?
Yep,
Fired up, ready to go.
Well, I know it's a little early, TK, and we always ask you for SCAL Player of the Week. It's probably a little early to have one this first show of the spring sports season, isn't it?
Yeah, a little early, and not only early, but I think weather is my spring or this week's star of the week because it's ruined just about everything. Raiders got in one scrimmage and one game, actually 2 games now. Just been terrible. It's always bad, but it seems even worse this year. But who knows? So weather's kind of ruled things. There were a couple games and. Anybody that follows the sports know there were basically blowouts, a couple of 5-inning run rule games within the league. So not a lot of star action going on out there. Even the track and field, kids are still getting warmed up. It was cold out. So looking for this week, warming up, warm today. Next week we'll have a star, I'm sure of that.
I saw on Twitter someone recommended, they said, why don't you just flip football season and baseball season, but play baseball in the fall.
Well, they used to do it that way.
I don't know the football coaches that go for that. They wouldn't have all summer to get ready.
That's right.
That probably wouldn't go over very well. So, Heavy D, anything in the mailbag the start of this spring sports season?
Yeah, a couple letters bouncing around down there. One talks about March Madness. And Dear Heavy, did you fill out a bracket? And if so, I'm assuming it's busted. Well, actually, it's not. I did fill out a bracket. I'm competing against about 19 of my relatives. And I'm in the top spot right now.
Wow.
All right.
My name is Heavy D Yo Mama. I've got a 510 points on the ESPN Tournament Challenge, and I've got a max points of 1790, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
All right.
Who's
good
winning?
job.
Who you picking to win?
I got Duke.
Probably.
Whatever.
That might be a good pick.
So we'll
I think
see.
that's a popular pick.
You might be one of the few people that picked Duke.
So right now I'm sitting in pretty good shape, but my godson Logan is tied with me, and we'll see how that goes.
Who does he have? Duke as well?
He's got Duke as well, but we got different Final 8, different Final 4, so
Yeah.
it should be good.
All right. Good stuff, guys.
Yep.
All right, thanks for that. And we'll look forward to more from the mailbag and SCAL Players of the Week as we go through this spring sports season here the next 2 months. But that's going to wrap it up for us, Ken. Do want to
Great
say
show.
Special thanks to our guest, Michelle Muhlenkamp, for joining us bright and early, as you said, here this morning. Ken and I and the crew will all be back again next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a great day, everyone.
Hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fishing pond. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole when you tune in to the fishing pond. Hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond.